right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sync 2025. This year, we are excited because we have over 50 companies coming from 14 different countries. So thank you for making the trip to spend the day with us. We have a lot of news, and we're so excited to be with you today. So Sync for us is an annual event where we get to share the progress we're making towards really changing the way that money moves for billions of people around the world and millions of businesses. And this year is no exception. We have a lot that has happened between last year's event and this year's event, and we're excited to dive in. So without further ado, I want to start with one question for you. If the internet could move value natively, would you use anything else? Let me ask that question so you can really, really think about it more deeply. If the internet could move value natively, would you use anything else to move money? And the answer is probably no. And it turns out we have that thing, and it's called Bitcoin. And we have a few Bitcoiners in the room, great. Bitcoin is the only network and assets that's truly open, neutral, and is sufficiently decentralized to earn the title of being the internet for money. Anything else just doesn't quite meet the bar. And so we talk about Bitcoin and internet. Let's dive into how it compares. The internet has been designed to move data and information, and at the base layer of the internet is IP. If you look at Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin L1 or the Bitcoin blockchain. For the internet to move packets and to move information around, you need TCP. And for Bitcoin, it's Spark and Lightning. Fast, cheap, ultra scalable. On top of the internet, you have bytes that carry information. And on top of the Bitcoin blockchain and Spark and Lightning, you have sats that move value. And as a reminder, one sat is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin or a tenth of a US cent. So there you have it. The internet for information, Bitcoin for value. So you may wonder, what's missing? Why isn't Bitcoin today moving trillions of dollars a day like the antiquated systems we're still depending on that are not real-time, expensive, and don't work Friday after 5 p.m.? And the answer lies in one single word: plumbing. That's what's missing. And you're in luck, and we're all in luck, because at Lightspark, we're Bitcoin plumbers. And that's what we do for a living. We connect fast, cheap Bitcoin to all of the payment systems in the world to enable money to move on top of the most decentralized open network ever created. So I want to give you an update on where we are. Since last year, we've been really, really busy working on building new global money movement capabilities and expanding the network. And when I say the network, I mean invisible Bitcoin, invisible, real-time, cheap Bitcoin that is completely abstracted from people when they send money. They can send dollars to someone in Brazil receiving Brazilian reais. They'll never know they use Bitcoin, just as we don't think about SMTP and TCP/IP when we send an email. So where we are today is that we're now connected to real-time payment systems across North America, Latin America, South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, connecting countries and regions that weren't connected on top of an open money network before. In the US, I'm really, really thrilled to share that Lightspark Payments, our regulated subsidiary, is now fully operational. This means we have connectivity with RTP and FedNow, connecting 1,500 banks in the US with real-time payments that can now interoperate with the Bitcoin network. This morning, we were so happy to announce that we closed the acquisition of Striga, which is a leading digital assets and payments company in Europe. And this is going to be enabling us to expand our reach across all of Europe starting now. So let's take a look. What it means is direct connectivity into SEPA Instant, 32 European countries, over 3,000 banking institutions in Europe that are now able to send and receive payments on the network in real time, 24/7, on top of Bitcoin. These are the two largest economies in the world that we now connect first party onto the network and enable for euros and dollars to move natively onto the network. Let's zoom out and see where we are with the rest of the world. So now, thanks to many network partners, some of you in the room today, we are connected to 65 countries across the world. This is 65 countries representing about 5.6 billion people in total population, about $93 trillion of GDP, and over 14,000 banking, e-money, and mobile wallet institutions. This is a moment where all of these systems get interconnected with one another using a truly open and decentralized network that Bitcoin is. And by the time we meet again next year, we should have completed connectivity to every single real-time payment system in the world, minus sanctioned countries, keeping my compliance team happy. And we will actually have achieved full connectivity. So anywhere that supports real-time payments with fiat money will have the ability to send and receive transactions in real time, interoperated for the first time with Bitcoin. So let's take a look at what those capabilities enable us to do and what types of products and experiences they're able to power. A few months ago, we were thrilled to announce a partnership with SoFi, who's in the room today. Thank you for being here. And it was a really big and important milestone for us because SoFi was the first US bank to join the network. And this wouldn't have been possible without us having Lightspark payments operate in the US and connected to, in this case, FedNow. So let's take a look at what the experience will look like when it ships later this week to anyone in the room and beyond who has a SoFi account. And if you don't have one, it's easy. 5 minutes later, you can have a checking account and play with it. I strongly encourage you to do that. So here you have the SoFi app. This is my checking account. And in this case, I want to send money to Maria in Mexico. And what you see is the price of the transaction, the cost, which in this case is the processing fees of 50 cents for a transaction. One of the best exchange rates you'll find. And it's real time, it's 24/7, and it works like magic money. And I won't belabor the point because later today, like just after this, you'll have a live demo of what this looks like. But this is really amazing. You have a US bank with a balance in US dollar, and you can now move money to another country on a Sunday at 1 a.m. in real time, and a couple of seconds later, the money will arrive into Maria's account. But let's look at what happens behind the scenes, because this is where all of the magic money happens. So SoFi sends $100. They route the transaction onto FedNow to us, Lightspark Payments. We get the dollars, we convert that to Bitcoin instantly, push onto Lightning to Mexico, in this case to our partner Bitso. Bitso has an integration with SPAY, which is Mexico's real-time payment system, pushes that to Maria's account, and boom, Maria receives the money. This whole thing happens in a couple of seconds, works 24/7, and is the cheapest way to send money between the US and Mexico in this case. And I can guarantee you that for all of the other destinations that SoFi is gradually going to open, this will be the fastest, cheapest way for people to send money cross-border. So, in summary, because of all of the capabilities that we've accumulated, now banks, wallets, businesses have different ways to connect onto the network. One of the ways is through Lightspark payments in the US and 32 European markets since this morning. Second is through partners, network partners. Some of you, again, in this room today, you can connect to the network, never touch Bitcoin, just send domestic payments using fiat to one of the network partners. They'll take care of conversion and pushing onto the Lightning or Spark networks. The third is, of course, native. If you're a company, an exchange, a business, a wallet that can actually touch Bitcoin and convert in and out of Bitcoin, you can connect onto the network natively using Bitcoin. And for that, you can be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world. There's no need for us to actually build connectivity into domestic payment systems for you to do that. This is the way that Nubank is connected onto the network, for instance, because they can actually exchange in and out of Bitcoin themselves. And all of this is possible thanks to the services we offer, but also because we've open sourced everything that we've done. So if any bank or exchange or wallet wants to actually do their own homegrown implementation without even talking to us, they can do that, which is a massive step forward for open global money movement. Now, let me turn to Spark. So Spark last year was a big deal for us. Like, we announced it, and it was at the protocol design stage. We had designed it, or Kevin had designed it, our CTO, and then we had to figure out how to implement it, which turned out was really complicated, and you'll hear more about that this afternoon. But a lot of work has gone into making Spark a live Bitcoin layer 2 on mainnet, and we've been thrilled with what we've seen. We've seen so much developer energy, so much excitement. It's been beyond our wildest expectations. So let's take a look. All right. So this was honestly the best part of this journey, is really seeing many of you in this room and beyond building on top of Spark and enabling applications that weren't possible before on top of Bitcoin. And the reason we believe that everyone's so excited about Spark and building on Spark is first because we think we've built the best builder experience for anyone wanting to build a stablecoin and Bitcoin wallet on top of Bitcoin. And we didn't do this alone. We have amazing, amazing partners like Braille, Privy. Henry is here and will demo what they've built on top of Spark in a bit. Flashnet, Breeze, Tether, who's launching the Wallet Development Kit WDK later this week. Dynamic, and many, many more. So we've had many partners building tooling and infra to make it really, really easy to build on Spark, and it's been a blessing to work with all of you on that. Second, because we support the different asset types that are really needed for builders to build really great experiences, notably Bitcoin, native Bitcoin, not wrapped Bitcoin, and then BTKN, which is the Bitcoin token protocol, that is open source and enables anyone to issue stablecoins and all kinds of different tokens on top of the network. Third, because Spark comes with Spark-to-Spark transactions, of course, but also backward compatibility with Lightning and support for Bitcoin L1. So you get all of the best of Bitcoin in one integration. You don't need multiple SDKs, multiple partners, one integration, and you get all of Bitcoin and stablecoins on top of Bitcoin and tokens with one integration. And last but not least, because we believe that we've hit the right balance between utility and trustlessness by building unilateral exits to Bitcoin L1. What is unilateral exits to Bitcoin L1? It means that if you hold a balance on top of Spark, whether it's Bitcoin, stablecoins, or tokens, that you can exit to Bitcoin L1 without trusting anyone operating Spark at any given point in time. This means that you inherit the trust assumptions of Bitcoin L1 with a fast, cheap, real-time Bitcoin L2. Now I want to spend a little bit of time talking about stablecoins on top of Bitcoin and on top of Spark. So issuers are bringing stablecoins on top of Spark as we speak. This is USDB, which is a stablecoin launched by Braille and Flashnet. It's the first of many to come. And you may wonder why it matters that stablecoins are actually coming to Bitcoin. Why does it matter? Stablecoins are on every chain. They're moving everywhere. There's no problem, right? But it turns out that at Lightspark, we're as much Bitcoin geeks as we are payment geeks, and so we look at it from the lens of mainstream payments. And when you look at Bitcoin and the implementation, when you look at stablecoins and the implementation of stablecoins on other chains, there are many, many things that are holding them back for mainstream payments applications. The first is that it's a very unusual thing that you have to actually have variable fees when you send money. And if you tried to move money, say, USDC on Ethereum on Friday when the market was blowing up, it might have cost you $300 to move a single dollar. And so how can you build a payment application if you don't know what the fees are going to be, depending on something that has nothing to do with mainstream payments, in this case, trading? So that's problem number one. And so we solve that by providing everyone stable, fixed, low-cost fees and speed. So, moving a stable coin on top of Spark, 1 second, 1 cent, always. Always the same price. And the second thing is, if you're trying to move a stable coin on another chain, in most cases, if not in all the cases, you have to use a foreign token to move the stablecoin. So let's put that in traditional payments parlance. Let's say that you're a merchant in the US accepting payments from a US consumer in US dollar, and you have to pay transaction fees in Japanese yen. You think this is funny, but it's actually the reality of every chain. You have to have the token of the chain to move the asset you're moving, which typically you don't have. And so on Spark, what we've done is you can pay fees in the stablecoin you're moving. So in this case, if you're moving USDB, you can pay 1 cent in USDB when you actually initiate a stablecoin transaction. We think this is really critical for mainstream payments use cases. And in the next few months, we're very excited to expand the capabilities and tooling of Spark for stablecoins by introducing something we call stable change, which is interchange for the stablecoin economy. If you think about networks that have been successful at payments, whether it's Visa or MasterCard or others, they've all functioned with interchange. Interchange was both a way for issuers to make money and for people to be incentivized, people and merchants to be incentivized to use a specific asset, or in this case, card network. And now we're going to provide those same tools for stablecoin issuers that are going to be able to design the interchange that they want to charge network-wide, and also have the ability to disburse interchange to merchants and others as needed to incentivize adoption of their own stablecoins. Coming soon. So in the last few years, we've built a lot of global money movement capabilities. A lot. And we've expanded the reach of the network quite a bit. And what we really wanted to do is spend the time to do things well. We could have actually gone global much faster if we didn't really care about real time. But we want to build an internet of money, so internet is real time. This should also be real time. And so we didn't want any of that. We wanted to really take the time to connect to every single real-time payment system, optimize the network in such a way that it would work with real-time end-to-end, optimize the system so that banks like SoFi and Nubank and many others can actually process real-time transactions and meet their compliance obligations in real time. All of this is hard, but we've made it truly global and truly real time, everywhere. There's not a single place of the network that's not real time. And what we heard from many builders is that this is great, you've built all of these capabilities, but we would like to use one part of your capability or another part of your capability to build different things. And today, we're really, really excited to announce that we're opening it all up for everyone. We're unbundling our capabilities so that builders from all around the world can build the best global money movement applications ever. And we call it Grid. Okay. So with Grid, it's like having superpowers for moving money around the world in simple and really easy to use APIs. I'm going to show you how it works with a bunch of consumer-facing experience and B2B experiences, and then we'll dive even further. But this is an example of, for instance, cross-border P2P, which you can enable now with Grid across the 65 countries that we cover. In this case, this is Carla, who's sending dollars from her US bank account to Maria, who happens to be in Germany. And so if you look at the JSON code here, and we can geek out a little bit, this is actually really simple code. So we can send money now with just this. So this blob of JSON enables real-time movement between a US bank and a German bank, all powered by Bitcoin on an open network in real time. So you have to add the IBAN in this case of Maria. She's banking with Deutsche Bank in Germany. The name, because in this case it's a regulated flow, so the sender needs to be able to verify that the person is not on a sanction list or anything like that, because we touch real-time fiat movement. And the same flow that you saw for SoFi in the back end with the conversion from dollar to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to Lightning, Lightning to Euro in this case, Euro to IBAN, to SEPA Instant and to the IBAN of Maria. All of this happens in 2 seconds, real-time 24/7. You execute, and then boom, Maria receives euros in her bank account. As simple as this. Now, let's say that you wanted to do the same thing, but this time you want to send Brazilian reais to Ana, who's banking with Nubank in Brazil. And in this case, she's using UMA, Universal Money Address Standard, that we released about 18 months ago, and is connected natively onto the network through Nubank. The only thing you need in this case is Ana's Universal Money Address. I've specified that you're sending Brazilian reais and the amount, and done. A second later, Ana will receive Brazilian reais to her bank account. Now let's do something more fun. Let's do Bitcoin rewards on top of Spark. This is one I'm really, really excited about, because you might have seen that credit cards paying Bitcoin rewards are all the rage. Coinbase is in the room here and has launched a very successful credit card that pays Bitcoin rewards. It's fantastic. Every time you tap your card, you actually accrue more sats, you stack sats, and those accumulate, and it's a great feeling. And we want to make sure that we can democratize people building Bitcoin rewards for all kinds of applications, whether you're a card issuer wanting to replicate what Coinbase and others has done, or build a new form of reward system, convert airline miles into Bitcoin, reward gamers with Bitcoin, do all of that in a seamless way. Now you're going to be able to do that with Grid. And it's going to be as simple as this. You have an account, you have dollars with us, and then you can spin up Spark wallets on the fly for anyone, anywhere in the world, and execute a transaction by just specifying the Spark wallet address and the amount of Bitcoin you want to send. Your dollar balance gets basically tapped into, converted into Bitcoin, sent into Spark in real time. The nice thing with this is that it wasn't possible before. So if you're trying to do this on Bitcoin L1, let's say you're trying to send 50 cents for a reward to someone, or 10 cents. The Bitcoin L1 fee is higher than the amount you're trying to send. You can't also reward people in real time. Like the beauty of a system of rewards is you tap your card or you do an in-game thing and you get a notification instantly with Bitcoin landing into your wallet. That's the experience you want. Also not possible on Lightning, because on Lightning you would need to have a channel with liquidity in front of every single wallet that you're about to send to, making it economically not viable whatsoever. So this is because Spark enables real-time Bitcoin movement at scale at a cost that wasn't actually available before, and you have now Grid to enable that you can unlock these types of use cases, and we think it's going to be really big. Now let's turn to another use case, which is a payout in stablecoins on a Spark wallet again. So same deal here. In this case, you just swap the asset from BTC to USDB or to any other stablecoin on the network. You specify the amount you want to send. You spin up a Spark wallet, send the stablecoin. It arrives a second later to anyone, anywhere in the world. And again, it's as simple as this blob of code here to actually get it done. So Grid is available starting today as a closed beta. And I strongly encourage everyone to go check it out at grid.lightspark.com. The documentation is there, and all of the API specs are there. Give us feedback, and it will go live by the end of the year. So last year, our key contribution was really announcing Spark as a brand new protocol to move Bitcoin and stablecoin really quickly on top of Bitcoin. And we're thrilled with what has happened since. And it's still early days, but we're so bullish about where we're going with Spark, enabling all kinds of global money movement capabilities on top of the most decentralized network ever. This year, our core contribution is Grid, opening up the reach that we've built with real-time payment systems in over 65 countries, with global reach for Bitcoin and stablecoin, making it really, really simple for developers all around the world to build award-winning, and more importantly, consumer-winning and business-winning global money movement apps. So in summary, let me bring this home for you. Since last year, we've expanded our coverage to many, many markets around the world. We've launched Spark to mainnet, and we've welcomed many builders, developers, and applications on top of Bitcoin that couldn't exist before. Now, we have Grid that unpacks all of these capabilities that we've spent the last 3 years building, and we make it available to all of you with the simplest, easiest to use money movement APIs. And all of this, all of it, is built on top of Bitcoin, the only network that no one, no corporation, no person, no consortium can control, and the only network in our mind that deserves to be the open internet for money. Thank you.